Alrighty, what's up, son?
What's up, son?
All right, Thomas. Here we are again.
Back at the podcast, son.
Yep, at the shop here at Cadets Toys and Comics in Spring Hill, Tennessee, and always online at cadetstoys.com. So, so we are back, and we are ready.
You're in radio DJ voice.
I am. I'm Venus Flytrap.
Venus Flytrap?
Venus Flytrap. Or Johnny Fever.
What?
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh.
Yeah.
I never watched that show.
Yeah, well, I saw it some. It was on. I don't think
the only time I ever really remember that
get
show
and understand it.
The only time I remember that show is the episode where the one guy explains to the gang kid what protons, neutrons, and electrons were.
Oh, and that one stuck.
That one stuck.
Yeah.
But they show that in science class too, so
okay.
I think that's where I kind of picked up on it.
Yeah. I was a little young for it, but I remember.
Wasn't like the main dude in Police Academy too?
Was it? I don't know. I don't remember. I'll make the connection, but I know that I had an aunt that lived in Cincinnati when I was a kid, and we'd go to visit, and I'd always want to see where WKRP is, and I'd be asking like a little kid does and bugging my parents, and they're like, "You're not gonna be able to see it." So I never saw it, and it's probably just a tiny little radio station somewhere. But I don't know if it was like a big landmark building or what. Any Cincinnati
Justice
folks
is in Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, didn't know that.
There's a museum.
Table. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. I did not know that. That's good knowledge. Still there?
Yeah, it's like a train depot.
Okay.
Or it was. I think it was correct me if I'm wrong on this, guys. I don't remember, but Kenner's from Cincinnati.
That is correct.
And I think when they were making the cartoon, they were sort of like all tasked with somebody. One of the artists there was something Cincinnati related. I don't know, but the Hall of Justice is modeled after that train station.
Wow.
Or whatever it was.
Yeah. From Super Friends.
That one. Well, and
also
the current Hall of Justice in the comic books.
Yeah, loved it.
That's actually in the toys that made us. I think it's part of it.
It is. I remember the toys that made us with Kenner being there with Star Wars. I did not know, or I don't remember about the Hall of Justice. So that's.
Have you never seen that
cool
in real life?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Like the first time you see it, you go, "Oh my gosh, that's the Hall of Justice."
It's the
Pull
Hall
that thing
of
up,
Justice.
man.
Yeah, let's
look
see
that up.
that.
I think it's called I think it's the train depot in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so
it's actually really cool. Then you got also put up the Hall of Justice. It may do both. It may pull them both up, but
do the old split screen. Yeah, dude. No. Oh my gosh.
There it is then.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh my God, that is awesome. It's Amtrak, baby.
Look, there's that one.
Look at the landscaping and everything.
Like there's an image that's pretty close up, Matt, underneath that Amtrak look.
That's a
image. You see that one?
Fountain.
That image right underneath the Amtrak one. It's about. There you go. Pull that up full. Can you pull it up full screen? That actually looks like it, because it's got that fountain. Like in the front of the Hall of Justice, it's got that little spiky thing. Oh, that's terrible. We're
getting a lot of them. Inside Union Terminal.
Open the Union Terminal
tab. Open image in new tab. If you right click, that's
a whole paper.
Yeah.
It don't matter. Pull up the Hall of Justice now.
Hall of Justice.
There's a good image right there. See,
top left.
No, down to the right. Oh, right there. That's one. That one. Click that bad.
Oh, yeah. So Super Friends, Hall of Justice.
Sort of the inspiration for that.
I mean, it's very much the inspiration for that.
You can pull up the Hall of Justice now, don't Matt? You never seen this in real life?
No, I've never seen it.
The first time I ever saw this, I was like, it looks like the Hall of Justice. And I feel like I did some kind of research somewhere.
How did you come upon it?
I was driving by it one day. See, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
See, there's a picture right there, Cincinnati Union Terminal.
Yeah. Boom.
How crazy is it?
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Well, you learn something every day, I'll tell you that.
I can't believe it. I mean, I've been to Cincinnati a lot, so I just was like,
Yeah.
I don't remember the first time I ever saw it. I think I was in college, and I was like, that looks like the Hall of Justice.
Sure enough. Look,
I do think that somebody either related to Kenner or somebody that was an artist for Kenner or an artist something for the for film, whatever company made who made that show?
Oh, I don't know.
Hanna-Barbera? I can't remember. Somebody worked.
Yeah, I think it was actually. I think it was Hanna-Barbera. It definitely has the feel of Hanna-Barbera.
I think that was the inspiration.
Yeah.
They just maybe they weren't even from Cincinnati. Maybe they just saw a picture of it and said that thing looks cool. Let's use that.
Yeah,
but that is the inspiration for the Hall of Justice comes from that train station.
Yeah, I mean you can see it for sure. Remember, we got early on in this. There was a Funko Pop with Batman that had that Hall of Justice. With it. Yeah.
I think I still got that at home. Mostly because I wanted the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, that's the only reason for that one.
I don't know why they didn't make a Super Friends line.
They did.
A Funko. No, they didn't.
Oh, not a Funko. No. I was supposed to say the toys. They did have a toy Hall
of
Justice.
Oh, the toy, yeah,
it was
for
yellow,
sure.
I think. It was weird.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. That was kind of ghetto. But
yeah.
No, I meant like with Funko. Why Funko didn't go, let's make a Super Friends Funko Pop line.
I could fill a book with my questions for Funko. I'll tell you that right now.
What you said earlier was getting a lot of phone calls.
We're getting a lot of phone calls. This week you were out of town for a couple of days, but I got, I would say probably 6 or 7 phone calls, people asking if we buy Funko Pops. Like, no, not right now. Probably not going to. I don't know. It just seems like it's, I mean, I like them. I want to have them, but like it seems like it's coming back around to like the real collectors that like just really love them, and that's kind of all that ever. It's kind of thinning the herd a little bit.
Yeah, they're not running in here on Funko Friday to pick up.
They sure are not. No, they.
No, there's still some of the regs, but
yeah, but if you have a Funko
I didn't notice
of
a little
Sonic,
dent in the Sonic section.
People, yes, I was going to say you'll see Sonic and Pokemon characters and people like that have a broader appeal than just Funko Pops and Funko Pop collecting. Those kind of move
when
out.
you say it's back to the collectors, I don't know that that's true. I think what you're trying to say is it's back to people who like specific characters. Like, you know, when those came out, people were like, "Oh, that's Batman. I'll buy Batman." They weren't buying it because it was Funko. They were trying to keep it in the box and have all these.
What I mean are the people that were on board and liked Funko Pops and bought them in the way that people did before, you know, the craziness started.
I tell you, man, I remember when we first got into this and people were like, "Man, these are the Beanie Babies of, you know, collecting
Funko."
And we were like, "No, not the same." But it's kind of the same.
It's kind of the same.
But
the only redeeming
the carnage of it's a lot more like the comic market than it was the Beanie Baby
of the
market.
90s.
Yeah.
That's
I think because
that's a good.
They flooded the market. People were buying up every bit of it they could with the intention of, these are going to have high resale, and that ain't what happened.
Yeah,
you know.
I tell you start jumping ship on that stuff when they went public, and because you knew they were going to start mass producing everything they could get their hands on. So,
well, I think they, you know, it's
and then
hard
COVID kind of.
No, COVID ramped it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That you got so many false positives from COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, across so many.
Same thing with comic books too. They were
baseball cards, sports cards. Yeah,
Pokemon.
Yep, all of it. So but everything it's evening out, and you're seeing.
I think the big sign for me is you go into Walmart and here, and they ain't changed out Funko Pops in a hot minute.
Yeah, same with Target, right?
Target is getting. Here's the thing: their shelf is getting fatter because people aren't picking up stuff, but they are still getting things in. Like they've gotten, the Indiana Jones stuff in. And most recently they got in the Spider-Verse stuff and something else, Blue Beetle. So they're getting some of the newer, licenses on the shelves. There were some things I saw that were pretty cool. I was like, that's cool. Some of the new Pokemon stuff, but like.
Well,
there was something I almost bought the other day, and I put it back. I was like,
my sister sent me a pic. She was in Mayfield, and there's a closeout store, and they get a lot of stuff from Targets, and it's in the old Mayfield shopping plaza, and they get a lot of Target closeouts. And she sent me a picture of a bunch of Funko Pops.
I should go buy some.
Oh man,
from closeout.
That's what you would think, but no, got to just resist that urge.
No.
Just gotta.
It depends on what it is.
Got to roll with what we have. Well, it's nothing. It's stuff that would never have a prayer of selling. Yeah.
Wakanda forever, pops.
Exactly. Wakanda forever.
Anything
third
from
and
Marvel
fourth
Phase 4?
characters from Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
All those. Third sister and this person and that person. So,
That's tragic.
It really is. I mean, but they still have the license. They still can make cool stuff. If I see something that I like, I know there's an Aaron Judge coming down the pipe, so I'm gonna,
I think
definitely be here for
people
that.
are gonna be like, I want Aaron Judge.
Mm-hmm.
I want Derrick Henry. But the days of trying to collect, I saw the Peaky Blinders. They're soliciting. Yeah, they're soliciting Peaky Blinders. You know what Peaky Blinders is?
$9.95 for at the shop. Yes, I do.
So they got the whole family of Peaky, the Shelby family. And I'm like, I love Peaky Blinders. I thought that show was fantastic. I watched it from day one. But I'm like, I'm not gonna buy all those Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't want to have a Funko Pop of Thomas Shelby on my or Arthur Shelby on my.
Yeah, right. It's taking up space.
Taking
up real estate.
I was excited about all the Ted Lasso Pops. Then I was like, I don't really want all those.
Yeah. You kind of get there when you really start asking yourself, do I? What is it? I can look at them every day here at the shop.
Trying to think.
But
if it was it's got to be a specific character.
Yeah, we're next weekend. We're kicking off football season, and baseball's winding down. Football's coming in, and we'll start selling these. Even though they're Funko Golds and no one likes them, we'll sell these. Derrick Henrys.
Derrick Henrys will sell.
Yeah, for sure. So
think he'll play this year?
Yeah.
Well,
King Henry, is he hurt?
I don't know. He's always hurt. Somebody's always hurt over there.
I thought. I think he's good. I think he's going to play. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but those running backs, especially big ones, they have a little bit of shelf life.
The other thing about Funko Pops too is I think you need to just buy them and take them out of the box. Don't try to buy it and let me keep this in the box because it looks dumb. Now it looks dumb.
Now you're right. I really think that I don't even like really the small Funko Pops anymore. Like the regular size. I like the 6-inch and up. So anyway,
they don't make a lot of 10-inch Pops anymore. People weren't buying them.
They're not. But
because they were
look
in-box
awesome
collectors.
Yeah,
they do look awesome. Like that Superman up there looks fantastic.
Yeah, people always ask to buy the Superman and the Michael Myers.
They ain't getting it.
Not happening.
Can't have it.
Cannot.
Don't even ask.
I got that Superman in Georgia. So
really?
Yeah, I was there with one of my jobs, and it was at Walmart.
I looked everywhere for the chase of that one. Never came across it in the wild.
If I saw the red-eyed chase, I would have bought it, but I like the regular one better.
I agree with that statement on most of the chases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably so.
Except for when 89 Joker came out.
I was about to say 89
really wanted the chase on. I wanted both of them.
Yeah.
But I really wanted that chase.
Yeah, with the makeup.
So I ordered 2 from Hot Topic, GameStop. One of those 2. Hot Topic or GameStop. I ordered it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they both came, one was a common, one was a chase, and I was so stoked because it was my first chase.
Well, we would be
it was the one I really wanted.
Yeah, and it's
and then we ended up getting a bunch of them.
We did. We
oh my God.
It got to where we
got so many of those.
Yeah.
But it's still a cool pop. That was a cool chase.
And if we had them in here today, we'd sell them. It was just one of those.
I did order some more of those.
Yeah. So,
speaking of which, we're supposed to get a gigantic Funko Pop order,
even
though we're not buying them anymore.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exactly.
Don't bring a Funko Pop in here thinking you're going to get rich because we're going to pay you.
Yeah. The price guide for that is. In fact, I see people actually online and on Marketplace selling things for 50% off PPG, which is pop price guide. And but if you're still into Funko Pops, definitely check out our friend Jeremy Gover on new and old Funko Pop unbooxings.
Remind me, I'll put that link in the bio.
Okay, yeah, and
they're still doing theirs. I watched something the other day.
Yeah, they've been putting some stuff out.
They kind of took a little hiatus, but they're back.
Yeah, they're back. So we were wondering, we're like, are they doing it? But yes, they definitely are, and they love it as much as they always
did. If you're really into some collectible Funko Pops and we don't have what you're looking for, check out our friends at Poppin' Off Toys.
That's right, Poppin' Off Toys, Wes. Yep, he's got the Wall of Fame over there. It's got some pretty sick stuff. So, so that's Funko Pops. What else has been going on in the shop this week?
I was gone.
I know you were doing some work, some video work out in the state.
Down in the GA.
And finding cool stuff. I know you tried to go to comic book shops when you were going around.
Interesting.
Anything cool?
I went to I was in Noonan, Georgia. If you don't know where that is, about, I don't know, 30-ish minutes southwest of Atlanta. Headed towards Columbus, Georgia. Anyway, that's where Alan Jackson's from, FYI.
Someone else famous lives there, didn't you?
No, it wasn't. I don't know if they lived there.
Oh, okay.
I told you they didn't live there.
Did you?
No, hold on a second. Let me tell my story. You're teeing me up too fast. Let me get to that. Let me get this out.
Okay.
Anyway, I went to Superhero.
Uh-huh.
I think it's called Superheroes, Cards, Comics, Collectibles. It's got a big title. Superheroes is what it's called. I think it used to be called Heroes, and they went to a bigger building, and then it became Superheroes because obviously they in like an old Roses or whatnot. But
Yeah.
I went in there on.
Jealous of that space.
I went in on Wednesday night,
Mm-hmm.
and was it Wednesday night? Yeah, let's just say it was Wednesday night because I can't remember.
Because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. But there might have been 30, 40 people in there playing Pokemon.
Wow.
It's like, whoa. Like every table was full.
It's about that many people here Saturday.
Anyway, they were rocking the Pokemon that night. Anyway, looked around. They change it up all the time every time I go in there, so things were a little bit different, so it's kind of hard to find stuff. They got everything, man. They got all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I left that night because I didn't find anything I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the next morning, because I was going to go back the next day, which I did, but apparently the next morning, Millie Bobby Brown came in there just randomly with her boyfriend or her fiance or whatever, and she signed some figures for him.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, I went back that night to pick up some books, which I did. But, yeah, it's a cool store. Noonan's got some cool places. That store's pretty cool. And then downtown Noonan, there's this, I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it's Full Circle, but that ain't right. It's something like that. But they have, it's like this retro toy store. So you go in there and it's like OG everything to modern, you know?
Yeah.
When I say OG, I mean toys you probably wouldn't even think of. But definitely from the 1980s. Some stuff from the 70s, actually.
Yeah.
All the way up. And they got it in like little sections. So there's like the little Star Wars, like a nice little starting lineup section.
Oh, nice.
You know, I think I've shown you pictures of some of those from like back in the day.
You have.
They got a DC section and a Marvel section, and they got a Barbie section, and they got the glass case section, which has got really all the rare toys in it, which is usually filled with He-Man or Ninja Turtles or Dukes of Hazzard stuff or A-Team or Knight Rider, something like that. They didn't mass produce a lot of, but are still pretty cool. And then in the back, they have gaming, but it's mostly like video games, and you can buy Pokemon and things like that. They also have records.
So
really,
lots of diversification.
Love the store. It's right on the downtown. It's really awesome.
Man, yeah, it's so jealous. A, people with a lot of space. B, people with a downtown.
And C, people with a lot of toys.
And C, people with a lot of toys and comics. So they were a well-diversified store.
This is a store that's been doing this a while.
Yeah.
You know, they have Legos and everything, man.
Yeah, I'd love to do Legos.
Transformers.
I'd love to do video games and have all that. But
we just got to spend all our money on everybody else's useless crap.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it has to come in.
Useless,
we have to find it. No, yeah, I know, but it's just space with us, man. And a lot in like a video game, like doing all of those different things is like it's a business in and of itself. It's not like just a little department that you have over here. Like video games is like a whole thing.
Well, they got a lot of space too. It's a big building. It's pretty.
Well,
I can't remember the name of that place. I want to say it's Full Circle or Full. I don't know, something like that.
That's a comic store. That's
they have comic books in there too, but it's always just like kind of like what you'd see at Replay. You know, you get like a bunch of dollar, like what we call dollar books.
Yeah, on their spinner.
I've never. I don't have a spinner. I don't know if that's a spinner rack. I think it's like a shelf. But like anyway, I've never seen anything in there like, oh, let me grab that.
Right. Yeah. No long boxes. You're not flipping through.
No, not really. No.
Gotcha.
I think they turned. I think they send that down the road to Superhero.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because they got a lot of comics. They also have a lot of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Do some interesting stuff we need to kind of look into too.
Okay.
Talked to the guy about the second night I went. I talked to the guy about Lorcana, and they said they sold theirs fast. They actually ordered 150 booster bundles, which is booster boxes.
Right.
150. That's what they put in for their order. They were only allocated 24 booster boxes, which is about what we got.
That's unreal. That's got to just
and
be
they are
issues.
a card store probably first and foremost.
Yeah.
Because they've got, walls and cases full of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and Magic, and the fact that I said, well, how long did it take you to sell out? And he said, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
He said there were people lined around the door.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought it would be, which we did have them lined all the way to the door here, but
it was interesting.
I just thought, like, with us being so much cheaper than everybody else, if that getting around,
I don't think they sold theirs much higher than. I don't know, though.
MSRP, yeah. Well, I mean, we were fortunate because a lot of bigger shops and bigger places didn't get any of their stuff. And it was just supply issues with certain distributors.
On the street.
Yeah, so I'm kind of.
And we still haven't gotten our Elsa deck sleeves.
No, we haven't.
You check in on that this week.
Yeah, somebody messaged us asking if we're getting any Lorcana with this September 1st release.
September
15th. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how that goes. So Lorcana is in full swing.
We had a play line. They played last night.
They did. It's our second time, or actually, yeah, I guess our second.
Talked to Nick about it today. He said it was pretty good.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I checked the cameras just to kind of see what was going on, but it was pretty modest. But
pretty out of it yesterday.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it seemed pretty modest number-wise, but it seemed like everybody was intense and playing the game. So,
well, I think we're at that point too, where Nick's got like 2 or 3 decks he plays, but not everybody has that many decks.
Right. That's the problem.
What's going to happen is or
people don't have decks at all.
They're not right. Yeah. They're not going to be able to play because this will build over time, obviously, but it may change this weekend.
Yes, I mean,
which I hope.
I hope it does. I hope people get some starter decks and be able to.
I think that people they're going to be able to pick up starter decks and elite trainer boxes. or the troves.
Yeah, at the big box stores.
Because
they're already out on shelves some places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some WalMarts that already put them out.
I've looked in the WalMarts I've been to. I looked, I didn't see any.
Yeah, so
it's a Target.
Yeah. So, trading card game is crazy. We had a big Pokemon day here in the shop. We have it every Saturday at 10 a.m.
2 weekends in a row. We've had a kid pull that top Charizard out of
Well, I was going to say, we've had.
Although, are you sure he pulled it again, or he didn't just brandish the one he got last week? If it's the same kid.
He was pulling. He busted it
same
out of
kid.
the pack. I don't know if it's the same kid.
That's what Wheel said. It was the same kid.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's pretty cool if he's got 2 of those.
Yeah,
well, I asked that kid to buy me a lottery ticket.
Rich get richer. I'm telling you. Yeah, that kid has a killer collection. So, but yeah, it was. You talking about 40 people? I mean, I would say we had 30 strong in here.
Yeah, that kid also traded cards last week for that dark Charizard we had.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the people, the trade card game is really ramping up here at Cadets Toys and Comics. But you got to diversify, Tommy.
We have to.
Got to do that
stuff.
Got to. We love our comic books. I had a guy come in this last week.
What are our toys?
We're definitely trying to build the toys up. That's been a challenge here lately, buying those collections because they haven't been coming in as much.
I do want to see more action figures like that. Those figures we've been getting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The loose stuff?
Yeah. I like we sell them.
We sell them fast. We definitely do. But just some of the stuff, like this last week, I've been a little bit, I don't know. I think we started out the week, you and I, a little bit sluggish. We kind of had one of those days on Tuesdays where we were just kind of like, we didn't get a ton of stuff done here. We were kind of, talking about this, talking about that, working a little. And I don't know. I guess Lorcana hangover from the weekend before or something. Our energy was down, but I kind of felt like that a little bit through this week. But just
the
trying
heat.
To power through.
It was the heat.
The heat's a lot of it too. Yeah, the whole midsection of the country was freaking
and you're
nailed.
Your commute's always fun.
Yeah. My air conditioner is loud and not the best. So, but I did have a guy that came in and he was looking for some real specific, crazy, like some of those old bootleg rock and roll comics and stuff like that. He's looking for some Kiss books, and I was like, I know we got stuff like in these dollar boxes.
We used to have them over here.
Yeah, we had, and I found some, but I got to kind of get down, and we were just digging through books, and I was just helping him find this stuff, and it was a lot of fun. It was something that, when you're running the business, sometimes you just don't get to do that stuff. So it was fun to get in there.
Yeah, I know. I was doing that a couple weeks ago. I was digging through, helping where I was just looking for books.
Yeah.
Or I was sorting something. Found a ton of cool stuff. I was like, man, I didn't know this was in here.
I know. And you go through those dollar boxes. What is this doing here?
I was like, this isn't a dollar book.
It's in a bagging board. Lord. Somebody's trying to pull something over or something. Hiding comics or something. I don't know what they're doing. It's like, we know the difference in a dollar book. So, and if you pulled something out of a bagging board and stuck it in the dollar boxes and try to hide it, we know. Mm-hmm. We know. We buy these things. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, gosh, this week we lost some people. Bob Barker, and
there's a meme going around
about the 99. Yeah. I saw
that would only
99 to 100.
Well, no, I think that would be more. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of feel like people are, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Number one. But it would be more of a thing to me if he died the day before his birthday, 100th birthday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Because he got to 99, but getting to the day before the birthay really
would have
brings that home.
Yeah, it would bring
a lot
more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I think of Bob Barker, I think of, I think everybody does if they were sick at home and on a school day, and that always came on about 10 o'clock or 11 or something like that. And so you would be watching that back in the day. Some Price is Right, Bob Barker with the black hair, and then what I would say probably Happy Gilmore is probably the number 2.
Of course,
yeah, it's got to be.
What else was he on?
I don't know. He's probably in other stuff, but I mean, he's quite a character.
I remember watching him at my grandmother's house.
Yeah,
we watched The Price is Right.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever understood the show.
Always
I don't know why we watched that show.
She watched her programs herself.
Can you imagine why that's actually why that got to be big?
I don't know. I mean, it's a fun show. I watched a whole documentary on a guy that figured out how to work the numbers and won it. Yeah, it's like a documentary on Netflix, or I don't think it's like a Prime documentary.
That's not Price is Right. That was Pressure Luck.
No, it was Price is Right.
Somebody rigged Price is Right.
I wouldn't say he rigged it, but he memorized. I think it was he memorized pretty much the prices or the way that the
pricing structures of every product. Of course, back then there probably weren't that many, but
yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Understanding. Did he work at a grocery store?
I don't remember. It's been probably 5 years since I've seen it.
And then some guy figured out that Pressure Luck was
there was another
random. It was randomized, and he figured out the pattern by watching it.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. He knew how to not hit a whammy.
Like every fifth, he knew that it was where that thing was going to be. Every fourth, he knew it was going to be this one.
Come on, big money, no whammy, no whammy. Stop.
Yeah.
That's like it. He figured it out.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Like this, people putting knowledge and stuff like that to work to beat the system. So good.
Yeah, it's not
my favorite stuff. Did you see The King of Kong?
The what?
The King of Kong.
That's
an old documentary about a guy that's trying to set the world record in Donkey Kong, and he kind of had the nerds and the people that already had the record for that kind of working against him.
Don't know that one.
Yeah. So anyway, if anybody's seen it, it's a good one.
I don't know that
I'm giving you some gold here. So yeah, Bob Barker, and I didn't know much about this nice lady that was voiced Harley Quinn.
Arlene Sorkin.
Or what else she did? Is she part of the Sorkin family, like the famous Sorkin family?
Beats me.
So
she was the first Harley Quinn.
Okay, the first voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Harley Quinn was introduced through
Batman animated series.
Correct.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
So, she was 57 or 67. No, she was super old. But yeah, as she passed away this week. So. And let's see, what else is topical here? I won't touch too much on it, but Donald Trump got arrested.
No.
One of the greatest mugshots of all time.
He turned himself in.
Okay, well, whatever.
It wasn't like they
he had to go to jail. He didn't do a
boy
perp
hunt him
walk.
down and handcuffed him and stuffed him and put him in the back of a car.
He didn't do a perp walk or anything. It's one of the great mugshots of all time. I got to give him that.
Yeah, he totally set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I got this angle. Okay, I'm gonna give him the old eyebrow scowl. So,
yeah,
entertainment, man. It's high theater. It really is.
Yeah.
So
that's all it is. It's circuses.
It's a circus. The whole political thing is. Don't get me started.
It's a circus.
Oh yeah. So I'm trying to think anything else this week. One thing I did want to try to do on this show is just, I know we have our Monday morning unboxing of all of our comics that we get in for the week, but I have a pick of the week. If you guys aren't reading Ice Cream Man, which we have a lot of these here in the shop, Ice Cream Man is a great horror anthology book that kind of touches on the human condition and but also has just a little bit of horror and kind of has this Ice Cream Man and his different iterations that show up in these books. They're real quirky, really good stories. Little plug for Ice Cream Man. Did you read anything good this week, Tommy?
This week?
Yeah. Did you read anything?
Yeah, I did. I read Night Terrors #4.
Good. That's
I read.
It's going to be.
What else did I read?
Night's End comes out this week, and that's it.
Didn't Void Rivals 3 come out this week?
No.
Is that last week?
That was last week.
I just now read it this week.
Yeah.
That's not true. I read it last week.
Okay.
What if I think Night Terrors was about the one I got to.
Okay. Well,
I put the rest of them back on the shelf. I didn't finish them.
Yeah, should have took them with you on that
I did
trip.
take them with me.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I
Just
take
didn't read
comic
it.
books with me all the time on my trips, but I very rarely ever take time to sit and read them.
Yeah, I get that.
It's been a lot. It'd be different if like I had somebody driving,
Yeah.
but I spend a lot of time driving. So
Oh, I would think you do it in the hotel room.
yeah, usually I get to the hotel room. I'm out.
You're out.
I'm going to bed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got some fun books that we'll feature tomorrow. But Night's End, which is the end of Night Terrors, is coming out this week. So we've got it back there.
That's coming out this week.
It's this week. It's actually in this box right here. But
Oh, you've already read it?
I haven't read it, but I pulled it to read
Oh,
it.
you went through the box.
I went through the box.
What's exciting this week?
We got a Catwoman covers book that has a cool foil. Let's see here. We've got, actually I have it pulled up here, but we've got that Nort's Illustrated, which is going to be a fun book.
He did find that.
Huh?
Just now saw that.
Yeah.
Full Circle. I was right. It was called Full Circle.
Yeah, you said it. That's why I didn't say, hey, yeah, there it is, because you got it right. But yeah, Nort's Illustrated is going to have, it's kind of a play on.
A what? That's this week.
Yeah, that's this week. I sent you pictures
Matt,
of some of them.
Didn't we order some variants for that, Matt?
Yes.
Yes.
I think they'll ship. Where's those other variants we ordered?
I was
Like,
going to say, I'm not holding my breath since we're still waiting on the Gun Honey.
What the heck,
Seeker
man?
Stuff.
come on, guys. East Side Collect Comics. Lock it up, people.
Yeah, get it together. Jeez.
I mean,
But
we
I mean,
ordered those like.
Yeah, I'm seriously considering like sending out an email because it's been a while.
Well, we got A covers, and we got the Power Girl cover that is in there. And then that J. Scott Campbell that's, I don't love it, but I'm sure people that like J. Scott Campbell are going to be all about it.
Yes, son.
Yeah, that's the Catwoman covers.
No, son.
Yeah, that's a no, son.
Maybe,
Yep.
son.
Yeah. So show the folks so this is North. So it's kind of like a little take on the swimsuit issue of these DC ladies. But it's funny because in the middle they have a centerfold that folds out, and it looks like the old Playboy, like the stats or the like little questions that they ask them, their favorite this or that, or
The Gotham game comes out this week.
Yep, Gotham game.
Gotham War.
Yeah, Gotham War is out this week. Looking forward to that. And
Did you read the Slug?
Batman and Catwoman are in this one. I didn't, but I plan to. I haven't read any of those, to be honest. Everything I've read, I've already taken out. So, yeah. So,
The Bat versus Cat.
Bat versus Cat, Gotham War.
If
coming
first
out
you
this
don't
week.
succeed, right, Matt? With a story arc. That's what this is, right?
Oh, the
Or this is just
Tomke. You're talking
Catwoman.
about the Tomke. That's a cover book. That's
Oh, there's covers in it.
yeah, covers.
Oh, it's like that Poison Ivy book.
Yep.
Oh,
That's what it is.
nice.
It's like that Poison Ivy book. So, yeah, I'm excited about Night's End. So, Tommy's book of the week is Night Terrors #4.
Is that
For
what
the
it is?
record. Huh?
Are you sure?
Well, that's what you said. It was the only book that you read, so I guess it has to be.
I started reading that Star Trek book.
Oh, okay. Any good?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really wish they put something out. Let's stay in the galaxy a little bit for just a second, Tommy. Ahsoka came out this week. And
well, that's in a galaxy far, far away.
It is, I know, but I was just going to use Star Trek to segue into Star Wars.
Okay.
Don't kill me for it, people. I'm sorry. But here we are, Star Wars Ahsoka, and I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it. There's a little hesitation on your part.
Mm-mm.
Any thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I don't know. Well, I think it's early, but I think I'm kind of on the same.
I thought it was entertaining.
I'm telling you, well, I think it's this. And Matt was trying to explain this, Matt, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'll let you talk here in a second. But I think Matt made a good point when it's like, it's very difficult to go from an animated story to a live action story and it have the same resonance. Because, again, I've said this when I talk about the MCU, actors bring so much to the table in their performances and their physicality and their emotional delivery. And some of that's based on writing, some of that's based on directing, some of it's based on their own creativity. And it's a challenge when you go from telling a story in an animated world to live action, and expecting it to translate kind of identically it's not going to happen. It's
yeah, I can definitely.
I don't want to say it's as difficult. It's probably more difficult than going from a book to live action, because at least with a book, you don't have any visuals other than what you create in your own imagination. To kind of pull from, and you can kind of go, oh, well, that's not how it happened in the book. Well, when you've seen it in the cartoon, you go, well, it definitely isn't how it happened in the cartoon, because you've seen it,
Yeah, you've seen it. Yeah.
What were you saying earlier, Matt,
sense.
about the delivery of the lines? And
Well, to be fair, so caveat first, I have not seen either the first two episodes of Ahsoka. However, I have been paying quite a lot of attention to Dave Filoni and what he has offered the live-action Star Wars since he came on first couple seasons of The Mandalorian, etc. And one thing I notice is I'm seeing just a lot of dialoguing and character that I think work in, as you said, the animated environment, but not necessarily in the live action. I think in an animated environment, you can get away with more, as we say, stilted dialogue and plotting, because an animated character, you're not expecting to see the life in the eyes that you see in live action. So the facial emotion.
yeah.
And once that translates into live action, you have live actors there delivering those lines, and there's a lot less area for slack, I guess maybe is the word I'm looking for. Is a lot less unforgiving. And I think you're starting to I think you can see that in the Dave Filoni stuff in Star Wars. And that was my concern for Ahsoka, and I know we'll eventually catch up. I like to wait for a few more to build before I get into it.
And I do think, not to spoil it for you, but I do think that's a fair interpretation. So that being said, it's not that Ahsoka's not good. It's just for our brains to kind of, flip that switch. For those of us who, watched Clone Wars, those of us who watched Star Wars Rebels, that transition's a little bit more difficult than, say, someone who hasn't they didn't dive into those stories. Now, on the other thing too is like, and I have to wait and see how this plays out, but like, if you've never seen Star Wars Rebels, I don't know if you understand what they're talking about. I don't think you could just jump into, like Mandalorian, you could jump in. For the most part, you kind of knew what was going on. You didn't really have to be a diehard Star Wars fan to really understand what was going on, because it picked up a lot of new viewers. Everybody loved Grogu or Baby Yoda and that whole thing. That was fun. Most of the characters introduced in The Mandalorian were brand new characters for the most part.
Yep.
It wasn't even until I think season 2. Was that right?
What?
I'm trying to think when they actually introduced a character. You were like, oh yeah, that's so and so.
Oh,
I don't even think they did. It might have been Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to think.
That's the big obvious one, but I don't
No,
know.
let's take that back. Into season 2, Luke Skywalker shows up.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Epic.
You know,
one of the great Star Wars moments.
Was it Bo-Katan in season 2? Bo-Katan was in season 2. So, but you'd had to watch Clone Wars.
So I don't have the depth with Clone Wars. I have watched episodes in Clone Wars. I tried to follow which you guys were talking about one of these before, but like one of these episode guides to kind of jump through. And
I think Matt made a good point. The fact that you have to have an episode guide to watch the show says a lot.
Well, I was just gonna. It was one of those things where I wanted to go through it that way, because when you have episodic, like those seasons, there's inevitably going to be filler stuff that's not going to move the story along. And so trying to get around that, and then hit the essential stuff, and then come back and watch all of it. But I did watch Rebels. And I can see what you mean by, like, you need to watch that to really be familiar with. I mean, just in the first 2 episodes, you need to know who some of these people are.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be moments where they're going to introduce things like I didn't realize that when it was one of the characters they showed was in Rebels. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't care. It didn't really add or take away from the story. But, right away, you recognize Governor Azadi. Who he is and what he was and what he did in the show and where he's at. But there are a lot of new characters in the story that we saw introduced in The Mandalorian with, I don't know that girl, Morgan, was it Morgan? Morgan, something like that.
I don't remember who you're talking about.
She's the witch.
Oh, yeah. Now,
she was introduced in Mando.
She's a Night Sister?
No.
Okay.
She's a descendant of the Night Sisters.
I got you.
At least that's what she says. So she probably is. Yeah, I guess so.
And that has a little bit of a Darth Maul connection, or
yes.
No? Okay.
Yes.
So,
again, you'd have to watch the Clone Wars.
But I gathered that with what I watched of the Clone Wars, but also that Star Wars game that they had on the phone. I can't remember what it's called, but I played it for 3 years, and it had a lot of these characters.
You played games on the phone?
Yeah, it was a something.
Well, the Night Sisters also show up in Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Night Sisters were like
Night Sisters were introduced.
I used them for quite a bit.
So they were introduced. Yeah, they're pretty vicious.
Yeah, they were good characters in battle.
They're introduced in Clone Wars, and their connection to Darth Maul is they basically take Darth Maul when he's young, torture him, run a bunch of magic through him, and then turn him over to Darth Sidious for his apprentice. Pretty much what they do to his brother, Savage. They collect him and turn him over to Darth Tyrannus in this one to be his apprentice, and then
just trafficking.
But it's like the Knights, I don't want to say it's like the Amazons, but the Night Sisters sort of run their side of the planet, and then off on the other side is like where the men are, and that's where Darth Maul. They come from the same planet.
Okay,
but the Night Sisters are basically an ancient order of witches that are really steeped in dark side magic.
Yeah,
and they're more like sorcerers than they are force wielders.
Yeah,
which is a little different.
Love them. Would love to see more of them.
So you got to know Clone Wars. They do touch on it in Rebels. You got to know these things. You got to know the Filoni verse in order to understand like the depths of what this woman's talking about.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna ask you, and I don't know, Matt, if you've done any acting yourself, but I know you have, Tommy, and you were talking about like interpretations from live action actors from cartoons and animation. If you're an actor approaching that, and you got like how do these actors, do they spend a lot of time studying and watching all of this animation, and they're trying to pick up the facial tics, or do you think they just kind of learn the character and their nuances, then just kind of go with it?
That is
I've always wondered that. If your source material is animated, how do you prepare?
This is subjective. I think you can study the characters as much as you want. They all have personalities. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Sabine has a personality in Star Wars Rebels that you can follow.
Yeah.
What Matt's talking about is the way those expressions are presented in live action is much more obtuse. It's much more in your face. It's much more. It's realistic.
No, I get what he's saying.
So,
I'm just wondering how an actor approaches that with preparing.
Part of it is they can only do their research to a point. But then again, most actors, or a lot of actors, Matt, you can agree or disagree, bring their own interpretation to the story, which is why I think when Lauren says, I don't really like the way Ahsoka is, it's like Rosario Dawson is bringing a completely new dynamic to Ahsoka. And
she's an older Ahsoka too than she is in the Clone Wars too. So there's going to be that,
Well, I don't know. I don't think that's really the argument, is that she's older, but it could be. It could be that's why she's portraying it that way.
Because in Clone Wars, Ahsoka was very youthful, and had a little girl.
In Rebels, her personality is very different in Rebels than it is in Clone Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
I only know this because I actually went and rewatched all the Rebels, but her personality is older, a little more serious.
A little more wise.
She's got a little bit more purpose, because at the end of Clone Wars, and again, season 6 or 7, whatever, was retcon. There was some retcon there going on. But even still, she was still pretty immature. So as she's gotten older, she definitely has gotten more serious, more purposeful. She's not a Jedi. Same time, she still acts like a Jedi, if that makes any sense. But to answer your question, yes, I think the actors can do some research up to a point, but they can also bring something else to the table, which most actors do, because they all are creatives and they want to add their own creative flair to whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a better example outside of Star Wars where I've seen, that may be a reason why people didn't like Last Airbender. Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
So here
we go, Matt. Bring it in.
So an actor, live action actor, they are going to want to emote physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a voice actor is trying to deliver the lines with their voice alone, right? They're trying to put whatever emotion, feelings, action into their voice.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a live action, you're going to see it in their body language.
They don't have to use their voice.
Exactly. So you'll have them asking, and yes, 100%, they're going to look for interpretation, but in their interpretation, they're asking these questions that we all have to make fun of, like what is my motivation and stuff like that. And in order to find those, it's more physical for them. So if the lines are not written in such a way allow them to find the emotion of that and to deliver that emotion with their full body, if the line does not provide them with it, it just comes flat.
Yeah.
Versus a voice actor who is delivering it all with their voice. They're trying to put all of that into their voice. So they don't have to look at you. You don't have to see their eyes. That is all done in the animation, which is obviously two-dimensional.
That's a good point. There were a lot of times I spent all day yesterday, just literally from the time I got up to the time I went to bed, I was watching Star Wars Rebels. Just because I was on this Ahsoka thing, and I was like, let me go back. Because when I watched Star Wars Rebels the first time, I watched it in real time. So I had to wait.
Yeah.
During a season, I would wait every week for a 30-minute episode. I was like,
yeah. Disney XD, baby.
Disney XD. I watched it. And back then, I was super excited about it. Now, I love Star Wars Rebels. I was loving the fact that they went and said this part of the universe, and they brought out these new characters, and they explored this time period and the early days of the rebellion, blah, blah. It was great. But anyway, so I went and I've been rewatching it, and there were a lot of times, and back to what Matt was saying, where the crew would tell Sabine, for example, to go, hey, Sabine, can you go set this charge over here? And she'd go, I'm on it! And she would say it real animated, real loud, whereas the girl in Ahsoka may go, I'm on it. Or she'd say it real subtle, because she's not going to need to raise her voice up, So,
but if the actor delivers the line in the way that the animated voice actor did,
it would sound ridiculous.
It would be absolutely
right. Well, that's what I was going to say. You're also trying to maintain a tone of a child's cartoon or as opposed to
now you mentioned when you
drama.
The whole opening with Sabine was very Disney, you know.
Yeah,
and I know what you're talking about, but I did find, I can't think of the actress's name, whoever plays Sabine. She her portrayal is pretty good. Her portrayal's pretty good because she's taken some of those nuances that you're talking about and sort of made them her own. So you gotta think she's a little bit older in this point. And Sabine was next to Ezra, was one of the youngest members of the crew. So these characters, all of them in Rebels were rebels. Their behaviors, their thoughts, we're going to break the rules first and foremost. So it makes sense for Sabine to do what she's doing.
That's right, and that's why when I started watching it, and I sent that to you, and I was thinking about it, and I kind of walked that back because I'm thinking, because I believe that Disney has a style guide for their female characters. I don't think they have much of one for anybody else, but you have to portray females this way on there, and that's the kind of vibe that I got. But then I started thinking, but she's a rebel. And she's, they have to set all of this stuff up. She's part of the rebellion and then blah, blah, blah. And so, and that was her character as I got to thinking about it and watching some stuff and trying to, go back on Rebels myself a little bit. That I was like, yeah, I see why they did that now. So, but, that was my initial take on that, where the guy was kind of a simp and he was like,
so yeah, whatever.
He was just, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to say too much, but it's, it's just the way that they portray men and women in a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is a very, I think Filoni's got a lot. That's what I said earlier. I think he either needs to knock us out of the park or he is.
Yeah, well, I think he's off to a good start, so we'll see.
Well, Disney just has their street cred is not very good right now.
It's not. They need, across all their properties, they need some wins.
They definitely need to win on this one.
Yeah, they just need to let the
creatives do the reality of it is like they're gonna have to answer those lingering questions we all had at the end of Rebels. Where's Grand Admiral Thrawn? Where is Ezra? Are they going to bring him back? How are they going to be? What happens next? Because the truth is, this is more about Rebels than it is about Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't just call it Rebels Season 5. Live action.
Because they're just banking on that name, that Ahsoka character. Yeah. That's the marquee. So everybody was super excited about her, coming into Mandalorian. So, including me. But I think Rosario Dawson does a good job. I kind of like the way she does that character. Just the way that the physicality, the way she carries herself. And so, yeah, I'm good with it so far. What days is it coming on? Wednesdays?
Tuesdays.
I think
it's Tuesdays.
Because Mandalorian used to come on
Wednesdays. I used to be excited about Mandalorian.
Yeah. What?
I used to get excited when Mandalorian would come out.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, especially his first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I liked the 3rd season, but it wasn't as good.
I didn't like that whole Jack Black episode.
No.
That was dumb.
Yeah. And Lizzo in that one?
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Eesh, brutal. That's what they're doing. That's when they get off on doing dumb stuff, man. They just need to stick to the program.
Like Stacey Abrams being president of the world.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The end of Star Trek Discovery was season 3 or 4.
Stacey.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we got a really late start on this one.
We did.
So we won't go too long, but I did want to touch on that. Let's see. We've got some things coming up like September and beyond. I'm going to touch on it just a little bit. I had some rants to go on. I'm just not going to do it tonight.
What rant?
We'll do it another time.
What are you going to rant on?
I was going to one of those get off my yard moments where just about, where the way that we complain about stuff sometimes and the way things used to be and traditions and all that stuff. But we'll save it for another day. Batman Day's coming up.
September 16th.
Yep. Weekend before the 23rd. Yeah, so
September 16th is Batman Day.
It's Batman Day.
Got a nice little poster in the window.
Yep.
And then
we always
Columbia
get down
Comic
for
Show is on the
Batman
23rd. Memphis is also the 23rd and 24th.
Yeah. Like I said, this week Night Terrors ends, so all you DC fans,
I'm actually
we're gonna
really
be right
happy that
back.
this thing is ending.
Yeah, so all the
This
DC titles are going to be back.
But isn't this Dawn of DC and everything goes to number 1?
There's a Wonder Woman number 1, yeah.
There's a Flash number 1.
Flash number 1, yeah. Green
Power
Lantern.
Girl number 1.
Power Girl, yeah.
They've already done Green Arrow and Green Lantern.
Yeah, man. So many titles. That's another thing I could get on. Power Girl doesn't need her own book.
No, she doesn't.
Good Lord.
There's a lot of characters that I don't think, this may be controversial, but I'm going to say it. I don't think Harley Quinn needs her own book.
She doesn't. She is.
Punchline definitely doesn't.
She's good being a pain in the ass to people, Batman and the Joker, and stuff in Gotham City. That's where she is. She just. I know there's a lot of fandom around her, but I don't think the fandom is around her in her comic books. I've not watched the HBO show. I heard it's hilarious.
The animated show?
Yeah, with Poison Ivy. I've heard it's really, really good. So it's probably just around that. They think they could sell some books if they give her own title. Just like Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy doesn't need her own book.
Well, Harley's had her own title for
a long time,
a hot minute.
But like Poison Ivy, same way.
She doesn't need her own book.
I mean,
she's a villain.
Yeah, and they're writing these books, and it's an extension of that show. What's on the inside, and then you got Harley and the sorry, didn't mean to say that. Screws up the MCU.
Nobody read that book. We only got bought that for the covers.
Everybody gets stuff like that for the covers.
Here's the thing. For us, when you sell more variant covers, you're ordering more variant covers than you are the A cover. People aren't reading it.
People aren't reading it.
So they don't need, I've said this before with DC, and I honestly feel Marvel's the same way. They need to cut them down to just a handful of stories.
They do. Everybody's trying to get
with this Teen Titans. That's another book I read, was World's Finest Teen Titans 2.
I know.
Nobody knows.
It's
also Mark Waid, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, he's trying to write to teenagers.
Maybe I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just not. If you're a teenager and you're into that stuff, I think you're going to like it, and that's fine. It's just not.
Yeah, but this number 2, they introduced all these other Teen Titan characters, and I was like,
yeah, let's
just
keep the ones we got good.
Keep it simple.
Let's keep what we have good. It's just like when I'm watching these documentaries about like this super powered or whatever it is of the DC on that 3-part documentary on.
Nothing sucks.
It's like, give the everybody's just getting there. They're hyping up the artists and look what we've done and look how great we are and look at our stories and these writers are saying, I've been a fan of this character for all my life.
Well,
and
thanks for running it.
He's going through a long box of stuff that is 2 years old, and it's just, I just think that everybody is just getting their piece. It's a bottom line.
It's like
they're inflating. They're putting all these books out there, and it's watering everything down for people like us. And people just want quality stuff to come in here and buy. They want good stories, and you can't have that when you have 10 X-Men titles. So I like having books to sell, but I want good books to sell, because those are the ones that people buy. That's stuff you can really recommend. We can't even say, hey, you should read this book. This is good, because we don't have time. There's no way to read all of them. They're taking the Netflix approach and Hulu approach to comics. They just put so much stuff out there that it's impossible to consume it all. So
yeah, but for these studios, these corporations, it's all about the licensing, and their focus is on everything but the source material.
Oh yeah,
and it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah,
and pretty much all of our lives.
And we've got these like, if there's a really good book, you're yelling it from the rooftops, because it's like, so
gotta read this one.
Oh my gosh, this is got a good one here. Yeah, so that's why Night Terrors has been a lot of fun, because that stuff's been good, and so yeah, buy that, collect that, get the trade paperbacks.
Yeah, but I think I don't want to run it for anybody who hasn't read it, but when you kind of find out who the villain is and why he's doing what he's doing. It's kind of another one of those things where it's like they victimize the villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, seriously? It's not. It's the superhero's fault that he is who he is.
Right.
And it's like, okay. I'm tired of that too. Tired of that trope. Why can't it just be, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys? You know, why is it always going to be, these are the good guys, but maybe they're not really that good. And these are the bad guys. And they're really just misunderstood, so they're not really that bad.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's just kind of meh. Like, you know, that's why Batman's not even good. Because he's like, oh, well, he's weird, he's messed up, he's dark and gritty, and, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not old chum anymore. But no, it is because it's like I don't like villains that don't have good motives, and I like villains that are sincere in their belief and what they're doing is wrong, but they don't think it is because they think they're doing the right thing. I just think that that's what we don't have as much of anymore.
And this can be in any genre.
Okay.
All right. In your opinion.
Okay.
One of the best all-time villains. Matt, I want you to chime in on this one.
Best all-time villains. I got to go with Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Yeah. Best of all time. Who's yours?
I would have said Darth Vader up until recently.
Oh, really?
Well, they've
given, George Lucas, Darth Vader.
Yeah. All right.
And
what do you think, Matt? Are you going to say Khan?
Gul Dukat.
I knew it had to be started. Gul Dukat. It's pretty good.
See, I don't know that one.
Yeah, well, Matt can explain who he is and what he does and why he's so bad.
Who's yours?
Saruman's pretty bad. Probably Voldemort up there. Just because they're not like, again, these aren't like misunderstood characters. It's like, oh, somebody hurt my feelings and I'm going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're just bad.
Yeah, they're just bad. But I don't like bad for the sake of being bad. I like there to be good, strong motive behind it. Good, a good story. Like Darth Vader is so good to me just because, when we were introduced to him, he was just a bad guy. And he was the dark guy in the universe. And that's fine. But you start to see, the struggle and the loss and what he has to endure every single day as a result. Like he's always in conflict, always in pain, probably always has, wishes he didn't take his path, but he has to. He's got it's all conflict inside his mind.
It makes him, I think as we've come to learn who Darth Vader is, it's definitely made him more complex of a character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do a better job of this of all things. They do a better job of this in the comic books.
I agree.
Sort of unpacking everything he has to go through in order to. I mean, there was those whole series of books where he was kind of trying to undermine the Emperor and kind of do his thing, and the Emperor basically put him in his place and said, "No, I'm the boss. You're the apprentice." And so, but if you really get down to it, like Palpatine is the real big bad in Star Wars. I mean,
he is, but like he doesn't have all those he's a bad to be bad. Darth Vader is, you can just feel the regret that he probably has. It's probably like he's not, this whole dark side thing ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Well, most of Darth Vader's motivation is fueled not by so much regret, it's mostly fueled by hate and anger.
Mm-hmm. But
hate,
I think there's regret in there.
Well, that's part of it, but I think it's mostly because of, he's angry. It all started off with that fear, anger, hate thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but like he's angry that he lost his mother. He was angry that the Jedi Council never accepted him from day one, and he always had to prove himself. And then he's angry that, of course, Filoni made it. He's angry that they run off Ahsoka, and then he's angry that Padme dying, and he's angry at Obi-Wan for setting him on fire, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely more, but Palpatine Palpatine was a lot like Sauron. All right. Did I say Sauron or Saruman earlier? I meant Sauron. Anyway, Sauron is not, believe it or not, Sauron is not about destroying the world.
Mm-hmm.
What Sauron wants is to be in control of a perfect world, a world that he controls. And that's kind of where Palpatine is. He's like, I want to control all this. It's all about power for him.
Mm-hmm.
And order. That's what it is. Anything that doesn't go along with that is like hacked off at the knees or the head or whatever, Vader's motivations are very different, very selfish. But from I think Kevin Smith called him like the perfect emo kid, just this is what, But anyway, I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
What besides Gul Dukat, what are you thinking, Matt? Why do you say Gul Dukat? Unpack that guy.
Okay, so
pop a picture of her so everybody knows who the heck you're talking about.
So basically, for me, I love the axiom that the villain is the hero in their own story.
Yeah.
Right? So the villain is always doing what he believes is the good thing, the right thing, right?
Mm. That's definitely the Cardassians.
It certainly is Gul Dukat.
Yeah.
Gul Dukat 100% believes that he was doing right by the Bajorans. He was doing the right thing for Cardassia. He's doing the right thing for everybody.
Mm.
That he was benevolent. He believes these things 100% to his core. That he was the good guy.
It's the best
and he
villains.
was absolutely disastrous human being, Cardassian. So that makes every interaction that he has with the Federation, with Cisco, with everybody, the horrible things that he does have so much weight because he believes wholeheartedly to his core that everything he's done is the good. And it just makes such an interesting character. It's so watchable. Almost to the point where you're kind of rooting for the guy because he's just so layered. You love to watch. And the actor, Mark Alima, who they got to play him, just brings so much life to the character. It's just one of the best villains of all time.
Love it.
That said, Vader changed the way we saw of villains in media and entertainment. Before Darth Vader, there was nothing like that. That character changed everything.
Like, who were our villains before Darth Vader? I mean, we're thinking like with the Wicked Witch of the West.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
they were cartoonish.
Yeah, like Maleficent.
Yeah.
And
they were over the top and
the Man in Black from Shane.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see Shane?
Mm-mm.
You never seen Shane?
What is it? Was it a Western?
Yeah.
No, I never did really like watching Westerns.
Well, if you go to film school, you got to watch stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, that Man in Black was like that's kind of where that comes from.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did. Lucas did take a lot from like Greek mythology and Westerns.
And if you go into Greek
serials
mythology, I mean, I don't know.
Well, the tragic figure of that, I mean, of all time too. I mean, I would put that with Darth Vader right there, because that's that adds to the depth there. That's the tragedy of him.
Matt, help me out here. It's late and I've been traveling all week. Who's in like classical literature? I can think of two in classical literature villains that were like pretty vicious. One was obviously Satan in Paradise Lost. But Richard III, Shakespeare, pretty vicious. If you know anything about Shakespeare.
Yeah, I tend to, and it almost is like classical literature and even more modern times before Darth Vader. The time before Darth Vader, we should come up with before Darth, BD. It's almost like the villain, they had a villainous character, but it was more that they were up against situations
or the elements
and stuff like that. Whereas
Beowulf fought Grendel,
truly,
Grendel's mother.
Truly.
That's one story. But yeah,
But that's like, I mean, that's mythology, right? That's Joseph Campbell's territory.
Correct.
That's almost exists.
But like, you know,
that's where Darth
in the
Vader comes
Odyssey,
from, right?
in the Odyssey, it's not like Odysseus has one bad guy that he fights. It's mostly his biggest antagonist is himself.
Correct. Because a lot of them are just allegories for how we live our lives and how we should live our lives.
Yes. But I do think, honestly, and I've said this a couple of times, for us today, what usually makes it compelling, what we enjoy most in a story is that if it does have a compelling, and I'm going to use the word antagonist, not villain, all right, because they're not necessarily always a bad villain. Like, you know, Johnny Lawrence, you can argue, is not a villain, you know, but he was an antagonist in Karate Kid, right? And
Kreese is the villain.
yeah, Kreese could be the villain, yeah. That makes sense. But a story that has a very compelling antagonist is usually the stories that stand out. And I think that's the real reason, like, I've said this before, while Wonder Woman, the second Wonder Woman was terrible. Because first of all, you had no idea what was going on. What was at stake? All right. And you had a hero that makes a very dumb choice. And against who, though? Who was the bad guy in the story? Because each one of them were victimized, you know? And it was like, so you really couldn't go, oh, I hope they lose, you know?
Yeah. So one was mistreated.
Because like in Harry Potter, man, there's no question what you want to happen.
Yeah.
You want those kids to win and beat Voldemort. You especially want Harry to beat Voldemort. That's what you want in Harry, you know? But when you watch something like Wonder Woman 2, it's like, I don't care. Nobody cared. You didn't care from the go. You know?
They were too many bad guys.
So
I mean, look at the way they handled the Joker in the first Batman movie.
The first Batman.
Yeah.
89?
Yeah, 89. Batman 89. He's a guy who's a gangster.
Yeah.
Who gets betrayed by his gangster.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're at the bottom, you're a gangster, and you get betrayed by your gangsters.
Yeah.
And you get dropped into a vat of chemicals and get transformed. Where else do you have to go except crazy? Taking your fight to the entirety of society. I mean, he's so well done, so well written.
Yeah, it's just he hates people.
Well, you know, and the Joker's evolved.
Wants to see the world
has
burn.
evolved and devolved and been, you know, comic books characters like that have kind of, maybe even made, you know, the whole Beyond the White Knight, the White Knight, Batman the White Knight with Sean Murphy. That, you know, the Joker is not even a villain in that. So,
Curse of the White Knight.
Well, there's a bunch of those.
Yeah. All right. Well,
anyway, I do think, I don't know how we got off on villains, but how did we get off on villains?
Gosh, I don't know.
Whatever. Oh, I think I just asked the question.
Oh no, it was the villain in. You're talking about the villain in Night Terrors, and his.
Oh yeah,
who he is, his motivation.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done. I think I'm done. Matt's got to get out of here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't
late.
think
It took us 4.5 hours to get the cameras to work.
Yeah, but we did it, and hopefully all this recorded.
Hopefully all recorded, and we will be back next. Well, if I do it next week, I'll be doing it solo.
Unless you learn how to pull me in from Mayfield, Kentucky.
We might figure that out, and I might bring in a guest.
That would be fun. I could
be
do
a
it
thing.
via salad. I could set up somewhere in some.
We say tomorrow, but this will come on after tomorrow's.
Oh yeah,
unboxing.
Yeah, so check that out too. We do a live unboxing of all this week's books coming out. So
hit that like, subscribe.
Yeah, please do. It'll help us out a lot. So, all right, Tommy.
I'm out.
Yes, sir.